Hi, welcome to Crafting with Courtney. In this week's video, I will be scrapping week 23 of my 2021 Project Life spread. And one of the things that I do is I always start out with this template. I will go in and I will adjust it slightly, and in fact this week I do end up adjusting it. But I start out with the same template to give it a feeling of consistency in my book. I always put the journal card with the date on it over to the left-hand pocket, and then I will adjust the rest of the cards as necessary or with whatever product I'm feeling like using. I tend to use a lot of different background shades and a lot of different journal cards, so this gives it a little bit of consistency. One of the things I also do is I mark out each week. I am using a program called Brushbox. I feel like Brushbox gives me a few more tools that I like for organizing than the regular Adobe Brush built-in does. And this brush is by Allison Pennington. It's her mixed bag set of brushes. I really like the fun scribbly bits, and because it's a brush, I went ahead and stretched it just a little bit. I didn't feel like it lost any quality, and it gave it a fun scribbly feel to the week. Then I will start adding all of my photos in. And I usually try and get at least one photo every day. I've been trying to stick to just one photo per day, but that doesn't work very well for me because I do take a lot of photos, probably too many photos. The flower this week is from my garden in the backyard, and I felt like it was just a great photo to go along with the June caption since it is a summer month and a summer photo. I do also try and include a picture of myself and my husband in our spreads each week. This one you can see my feet, but at least it is something that I'm doing. And it's just to make sure that I'm including us in the story too and not just focusing on the pets and the child, which is very easy for me. And I do include a photo of myself and my husband only every single month. I started doing that by accident, and when I was looking back through the prior weeks that I had scrapped, I noticed that we had a photo of just the two of us doing something together. And so it's something I've been trying to make sure I do and continue to do every single week, keeping a photo of just, or every single month, not week, keeping a photo of just the two of us. I do include the pets. They get a lot of photos taken of them, and they're part of the people who live in our household too, and part of our routine revolves around them. One of the things I've been doing this week is the fireflies are out. We didn't have fireflies or lightning bugs in our last place that we lived, so I've really been enjoying just the magicalness of seeing them again, and my son does not remember ever seeing them, so it's really fun for him to be able to see them for the first time too. This week, one of the events that my son went to ended up in the newspaper. So I have the pictures of the physical paper, but I also took a screenshot of the digital paper just to include a little bit in here. And because it ended up on two different little screenshots, because he's on two different pages, I went ahead and I changed that horizontal block out to two vertical blocks so that it would fit side by side there. Now, because there's identifying information in his quote that's in the paper, I did go ahead and stay pretty zoomed out for adding that in. For my printed copy, of course, I'll have that information. But for the rest of the video, I just went ahead and covered that with a journal card, and then I will blur out his name and that information in the layout that I do post. And then the journal cards that I'm using, I do have two go-to kits when I don't have any particular kit and journal cards I want to use. I do have Every Day by Designed by Soko, as well as a collab that she did with Sabrina's Creations, and that one is called Storyteller. And those two both have some really good journal cards that let me write quite a bit. I try to have one journal card per day that I write on, although sometimes I do combine Saturdays and Sundays if we didn't do anything much that weekend. And I found, and it has a lot of fun little word art, just things like captured or everyday, and I like adding those in just to give it a little bit of dimension besides just the photos and the cards to my spreads. The kits are pretty basic, so they do work with almost any week. I've used them in all 4 seasons, and I really feel like I've gotten a lot of use out of them. And I started off with the color heart, and I realized I liked the wood one better because it didn't compete with the outfit that my son and I are wearing, and it didn't compete with the sky that's in the background. I like doing the project life spread each week because I do find it helps me to tell some of those little stories and include some cute little photos. Like the one, it was a beautiful Sunday when we came out of church, so I wanted to include a photo of the two of us that I snapped, but it's not something that I would do a full page layout about to really share because there's not much to share about it except we came out, we both looked nice, and the weather was beautiful. So let's take a little photo of the two of us. I do find that I don't have a ton of photos of my mom and me, so I am trying to make sure that I do have photos of my son and me, as well as my son and his dad. But since I'm usually behind the camera, it typically is me that's not in as many pictures. And then I filled out a little bit of more word out across the layout spread. And that journal card that's covering up the newspaper quote will actually go into that blank spot to the left of it. So I did go ahead and leave that blank throughout the video. A couple of times I pulled in a piece of word out and then decided I didn't like it as much, so I did go ahead and delete it and kick it back out. For my project life spreads, I do keep my shadowing pretty simple. I almost always use Fiddle-Dee-Dee Designs styles, and I'll stick with her like flat paper, and I'll stick with just her word strip because I don't feel like these particular ones need a lot of dimension. And so I do keep them pretty simple, just a couple of stickers here and there, a couple of word art, because for me, the focus of my project life spreads is completely on the story and on capturing those little moments that we go through and those little moments of life that we have. And I feel like I don't need a whole lot of extra decorations to go with that. One of the things about fireflies, I liked these two pieces of word art together because it's something that I remember from my childhood being able to go out and see and catch, and it's something that I hope my son can remember. So I thought the yesterday and today really went well with that particular photo. And tell me, do you like seeing the videos sped up, or would you rather see it done in real time? This spread total, including the journaling, probably took me about 30 minutes, I think, to do. But of course, in the magic of sped up time, it only took about 8 minutes for you to enjoy watching this. I'll go ahead and I'll pause the video and I'll fill in all of that journaling. So through the magic of digital, the spread will be done. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time on Crafting with Courtney.